Raider Nation, things are absolutely boiling in Las Vegas right now. The defense is being asked to clamp down on a physical Cleveland Browns offense with a run game that can flip the whole thing if you blink. New faces are earning touches on offense for Sunday. And on top of that, the NFL is not cutting anyone any slack and dropped fines from that Dallas Cowboys game right on the eve of this matchup, weighing on the locker room. The media keeps pouring gas on the fire. There is a heavy decision brewing on the sideline. And the last storyline is the kind that leaves the silver and black with their hearts in their throats. But before we dive into every detail of this breakdown, let me ask you for something real quick. Hit that subscribe button. It does not cost you anything. It is completely free, and it helps this community a ton. Smash that like as well, because it tells YouTube to push this conversation to more people in Raider Nation. And drop your thoughts down in the comments. Tell me how you are feeling about this team right now. This space is yours. This is straight from the stands. All right, let us start with the most obvious problem in this matchup with the Browns, their ground game. It is not just the defense has to play well, it is one specific guy who can change the game in a single snap, Quinton Judkins. This dude has that running back aura where you get nervous just seeing him line up in the backfield. Patrick Graham made that crystal clear this week, and I liked how honest he was with his players. He talked about Judkins' vision, his patience, how he presses the line of scrimmage to force the second level to commit, and once a linebacker takes that one wrong step, it is over. It is a quick cut, a crease that shows up out of nowhere, and the defense chasing from behind. Man, that drives me crazy because we have watched this same movie against other backs around the league, and there is a detail people forget. Backs at this level have been toting the rock since they were little kids. That is a ton of reps, a ton of instincts built up. Meanwhile, a lot of defensive guys switched positions in college, were tight ends, were running backs, turned into linebackers, turned into D linemen. The offensive guy has been doing the same thing since he was about 7 years old. The difference in live speed reads is wild. And to be honest with you, against this kind of player, every wrong step from our defense turns into free yards the other way. On the other side, Joel Bitonio is no fool either. He praised the Raiders' defensive front, said this front is playing hard and trying to build that identity of not letting anybody run on them. And he is right. In a bunch of games, this run defense has held up a lot better than the pass defense. The problem is keeping that level now with the season wearing everybody down. I know you are at home wondering the same thing. Can you really trust that standard against a physical Cleveland offense? Graham has been putting 4 or 5 guys on the line, changing the looks, trying to punch the run game in the mouth from the first snap. That is what a defense does when it knows exactly who the problem is on the other side. But it does not matter how clean the front looks if you start missing tackles in open space. You need contain. You need the D-line owning the right gaps, linebackers shooting low, and the secondary not being afraid to get dirty coming downhill. This is a humility game, doing the basics the right way, not trying to be the hero on every single play. Only here you get this kind of Raiders fan eye on the defense with love and distrust at the same time, because if that unit plays clean, they can bottle up Judkins and force the Browns to win it with the quarterback's arm. Then the story changes. But if they start losing the battle up front in the first quarter, my friend, it is going to be a long afternoon at Allegiant. Drop a comment if you trust this run defense, because the next situation we have to talk about messes even more with this matchup against their offense. You know what makes this game even weirder on the other side? There is a rookie quarterback making his very first start, and it is happening against the Raiders, and it is a guy a lot of people expected to see in silver and black in the last draft. Instead, he landed with the Browns in the 5th round, came in quietly, and now he walks into Allegiant with the perfect chance to use our defense as a showcase. That is exactly our kind of luck, right? Shedeur Sanders comes in with that heavy label of college star, son of a legend, spotlight on him since forever, and at the same time, he brings the full rookie package: excitement, nerves, improvisation, that throw where you go, nice ball, and the very next one you are thinking, what in the world was that? Max Crosby himself talked about it, said young guys are unpredictable, that Sanders had a lot of success in college, and that this is going to be a fun battle. You can tell Max respects him, knows the family, has always rooted for the kid, but once that ball is kicked, the friendship clock runs out. He made it clear he watched a ton of tape on Sanders, pretty much all of it, and he is happy the kid is getting his first shot in the league. But here is the thing. happiness lasts only until the first whistle. After that, it is Crosby doing what he does, hunting the quarterback on every snap to give this team any shot at a win. To be honest with you, if the pass rush does not show up strong in this game, we are capable of making life complicated even against a rookie. It is unbelievable. And there is one detail that is insanely annoying. The Raiders have not won a game since that win over the Tennessee Titans back in Week 6. Ever since then, it has been a straight line of losses, stumble after stumble, always finding a new way to walk out with an L. You have two teams stepping on the field trying to prove they have not checked out on the season, but it feels like the pressure is heavier on our side. I know Raider Nation is tired of hearing it is a winnable game and then watching this team let it slip. Cleveland is rolling in with an aggressive defense looking to force mistakes, take the ball away, and give their rookie short fields. That means one simple thing. You cannot let Shedeur get comfortable, go through his reads in peace, and sit in the pocket like it is a practice rep. You have to hit him, change his throwing windows, make him feel NFL speed right away. If you let this game be easy, that is the perfect script for a rookie to turn our defense into his breakout headline again. And man, that wears you out. Only here you get this silver and black fans angle that respects Sanders' talent and still feels that real fear of becoming a side character in his debut. Let me know in the comments if you think Max is going to ruin his party or if we are staring at the risk of yet another visiting show in Vegas, because the next storyline is all about discipline, money, and even more pressure on this Raiders offense. Man, that Monday Night Football against the Cowboys is still stuck in everyone's throat, right? Huge stage, bright lights, and instead of talking ball afterward, we end up talking fines. The NFL came down hard on 3 players, 1 of ours and 2 of theirs, and that says a lot about how chippy that game was. On the Raiders side, Malcolm Kuntze got hit with a fine of more than $12,000 for unnecessary roughness after going at Tyler Guyton's helmet after the play. That was not a normal snap, it was after the whistle, exactly the kind of thing the league is trying to erase. To be honest with you, I get that the game gets heated, but that kind of stuff kills you in key moments. It is money out of the player's pocket and worse, free field position for the opponent. There is no reason to hand out that kind of ammo. On the other side, George Pickens got slapped with more than $26,000 for a wild celebration, hugging our goalpost after a touchdown. The NFL is not into that kind of show, and because he is a repeat offender, the bill went up. DeMarvion Overshone also got tagged with a fine of more than $8,000 for a late hit. In other words, officials were locked in, cameras were everywhere, and any extra move turned into a ticket. The league is getting stricter by the week, and if you do not adjust, you are going to keep donating money and yards. And what really stings is that all of this happened in a game where the Raiders offense, once again, failed to clear 16 points. This was supposed to be the matchup to bounce back against a Cowboys defense that had been up and down, and we walked away with even more questions. Now, instead of asking, how does this offense get better? The question is, how is this offense going to survive against the Browns' defense? Because on the other side is Myles Garrett, a heavy favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, sitting at 15 sacks in 10 games. Chip Kelly himself said there are almost no big men who move like he does, that he is a guy a little over 265 pounds moving like a linebacker. And honestly, just thinking about that dude lining up across from an offensive line that already has protection issues gives you chills. I know you can already picture it, drop back, protection collapsing, and Garrett screaming off the edge. That is why the key for this one might be Ashton Jeanty finally showing up. The numbers are rough. He is averaging under 4 yards per carry, but even the Browns' defensive coordinator said his tape looks better than the stat line. He described Jeanty as a human bowling ball, low, compact, and tough to hit clean. If the run game does not get going now, against this kind of aggressive defense, things can get ugly in a hurry. Only here, you get this silver and black fans red that mixes discipline, fine money, and real concern about a stuck offense. Drop a comment and tell me if you think this offense still has a shot in the 2025 season, because the way the league and the media are looking at the Raiders after all of this ties directly into what people are saying about us in the predictions for this Browns game. Look, when we talk about this matchup with the Browns, the thing that really hurts is seeing how almost nobody takes the Raiders seriously anymore. That 2-8 record is heavy, but the way this team is losing hits even harder. Every week, someone in the media treats Vegas like a background character, And this game has turned into exactly that in a lot of previews, a chance for the other side to get right while we show up as the backdrop to a rookie story. And yeah, that is frustrating. The truth is, this season has turned into a showcase of our identity crisis on offense. We are past the halfway point, and you still cannot say what this team is supposed to be with the ball. When the defense steps up like it did against Denver, the offense does not follow. When the offense looks like it might finally respond, the defense dies from being on the field all night. There is no complimentary football. To be honest with you, that wears down any locker room because naturally you start getting those sideways looks from one side to the other, even if nobody says it in front of a microphone. Then Pete Prisco from CBS drops another pick against the Raiders. He looks at the game and lays out a straight script. The Browns defense attacking a line that does not protect Geno, Myles Garrett smelling blood and turning the afternoon into a nightmare, and a rookie quarterback taking advantage of a secondary that struggles against the pass. In his view, it is the perfect setup for Sanders to start his career with a win. Coldly, looking at what the Raiders have put on tape the past few weeks, you get why he thinks that. And I know you feel that same mix of frustration and fear of seeing another negative headline. In their prep, this Raiders coaching staff needs to treat this as a game with multiple branching paths. There is a rookie quarterback who can miss basic reads or hit a bomb on third down, an offense ready to test our secondary, and a defense that will be taking shots at our protection from the first snap. That means working on Sanders being rattled and making early mistakes, on Sanders getting into a rhythm with long drives, and on their run game getting going and taking pressure off the kid. You cannot walk into Sunday expecting a neat little script. You have to be ready for chaos and react fast when it shows up. Geno also got asked about all the attention and pressure around Sanders. He pointed out that as Deion's son, the kid has lived under the spotlight his whole life, and criticism only hits you if you decide to listen to it too much. He said he tries to focus on doing his job every day, and that his advice for the rookie is to be himself. But honestly, none of that changes the fact that this offense is not producing. That is why I keep saying only here you get this silver and black fans view that connects what the media is saying, what the players are answering, and what Raider Nation feels watching this roster going in circles. Let me know in the comments if you still believe this group can flip that perception down the stretch, because the next topic is all about the guy under the most pressure in Las Vegas right now, the head coach, and the weight of that 2-8 record on his shoulders. So let us face head-on the topic that is burning in Vegas, the weight of that 2-8 record on Pete Carroll's back. He was brought in to be the stability guy, the culture guy, the relax I have seen it all before presence. But so far, what we see on the field is a stiff team, a stuck offense, and stubborn decisions that feel more like a coach clinging to the past than building a future in silver and black. And man, that is tough to swallow. Jared Dublin from CBS Sports put Carroll right on the short list of people with the most on the line in this final stretch. It is not an overreaction. He talks about a team that does not seem to have a clear idea of what it wants to be on either side of the ball, especially on offense. And that is the phase where Carroll was supposed to be the difference. Instead, the impression is of a heavy system, one that does not protect Geno, does not scheme touches for the best players, and stays locked into a game plan that has nothing to do with the actual strengths of this roster. To be honest with you, that is exactly the kind of thing that kills fan confidence in a hurry. The piece hits hard. It calls the Geno Smith experiment a failure, says the line cannot block anyone, says the offense is literally brutal to watch. And the toughest part is a point Raider Nation has been feeling for a while. Carroll's fingerprints are all over this roster. He helped build it, signed off on moves, put his stamp on this group. When the result is 2-8 and a team with no direction, it is hard to point the finger at anyone else before you point it at him. I know some of you watching are thinking, yeah, but what about the front office? And that is where another detail comes in. The story reminds everyone this front office, led by John Spytek, keeps pushing a narrative of confidence, long-term project, future vision. The problem is you cannot really back up that talk when the oldest coach in the league is leading a team that looks lost week after week. It is not just about losing to the Browns or winning. It is about how this team plays, how it responds, whether it shows real adjustments, whether there is any humility to change course. If they get blown out again, especially by a rookie with a limited supporting cast, the conversation is going to heat up for real. Only here you get this Raiders fan read on Carroll that does not come from blind hate, but from holding his name and his legacy to the standard they deserve. Tell me in the comments if you think he can still turn this around or if his time in Las Vegas has already run its course. Because at the end of the day, all this pressure on the coach, the roster, and the front office says a lot about where this team is standing right now and what kind of Raiders we are really watching in this 2025 stretch run. At the end of all this, it hits you right in the chest, does it not? We look at a defense trying to hold up against a heavy run game, at a rookie making his debut on the other side, at the fines, at the predictions against this team, and at the massive pressure on Carroll, and we see a group standing on the edge. It is not just about scheme, it is about identity, about silver and black pride being tested every single week. To be honest with you, this 2-8 record hurts a lot, but it also shows who is still here. So jump into the comments. This space belongs to everyone who lives Raider Nation, and stick around for the next conversation.